This conference will now be recorded.
Fine, let us start the session. Let me go and open one notepad. Now see here guys, from today onwards, we'll start the actual course curriculum. From today onwards, we'll start into actual course content. So let me go and open a notepad. And meanwhile, let me go and open the course curriculum. Let me go and open the course content. Now see, in this, already we discussed about the demo sessions, discussed about overview of SharePoint, overview of Power Apps, and Power Automate overview and Power BI overview. And now from today onwards, we'll start the actual course curriculum. So I'll directly jump into the course content. So the first topic in today's session we are going to discuss is first we'll start with the SharePoint guys. So first 2 to 3 classes we'll discuss about some SharePoint introduction. So and then later we'll discuss the Power Apps. So why? Because as we know that SharePoint will act as a data source. I'm going to take the data source as a SharePoint, not to go and work with some, not to go and store the data. So in today's session, first we'll discuss about what is SharePoint, what is a data source, and also we'll discuss about block diagram of SharePoint. Along with this, we'll discuss about what is meant by a site. So how to create a site, different types of sites are available. What is the difference between the team site and communication site? And also we'll discuss about some security roles here. So up to here, we'll discuss now in today's session, guys. Up to the site contents we'll discuss. So let me go and open the notepad and let me keep here. Today's topic we are going to discuss here is SharePoint. In today's session, we are going to discuss about what? SharePoint. Now see, in today's session, we'll discuss about introduction to, some brief introduction to SharePoint. Now try to understand, guys, what is meant with SharePoint. Already we know that SharePoint will act as one data source. Previous class, in the overview, we discussed it. But let me keep here. What is the definition of SharePoint in detail? In today's session, we'll discuss about in detail what is SharePoint, guys. So first, let me keep here. What is meant this? What is this SharePoint is? SharePoint is web-based. It is a web-based application. It is a web-based application or a software which is used to store and manage. What is the use of this software is? It is a web-based application or a software which is used to store and manage the organizational business data at one place. What is the use of this share? What is the definition of SharePoint is? In simple words, we can say that it is a web-based application or a software which is used to store and manage the organizational business data at one place. Online people, please be on mute. So this is one of the definition of SharePoint, guys. So there is another one more definition. So you can keep another one more definition for SharePoint. So what is another definition for SharePoint is? We can say that SharePoint is a cloud-based data source. It will act as what? It is a cloud-based data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational business data at one place. What is the use of this means? The another definition of it is it will access what? It is a cloud-based data source platform. This SharePoint, I'm using it what? As a data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational business data at one place. Now see here guys, once if you store the data, what is this managing? I'm telling that it is used to store the data and also to manage the data. Now what is this managing means? Managing is nothing but maintaining the data. Manage is nothing but what? Maintain and controls. Maintain and controls the access. So that means, what is this maintain and controls the access means? Suppose if you are having some data stored in the SharePoint, if you have some data stored in the SharePoint, so you can maintain that data. Maintaining means you can create the new records, update the records, and you can delete the unwanted records. And controlling access means whatever the data we're storing in the SharePoint, it is highly secured, guys. Within the organization also, all the employees in the organization, they are not able to interact with the data in the SharePoint list. So whoever is having the access, those people only can interact with the data. So you can keep these two definitions. So one of the definition is what? SharePoint is what software? It is a web-based application or a software which is used for what? To store and manage the organizational business data at one place. Or another definition I'm keeping here for the SharePoint is SharePoint will access what software? It will access a data source of. It will access one data source which is used to. What is the use of the data sources? Which is used to store and manage. Managing is nothing but what? Maintaining and controlling is. Maintain and control the access. Controls the access to the data. So and controls the, which is used to store the organizational business data at one place. You can keep any one of these definitions. What is SharePoint means? You can mention any one. Both are fine. Anyone is correct. And now here, guys, I'm telling that SharePoint is used to store the data and also to manage the data. Now SharePoint, not only to store the data, not only to manage, what the SharePoint can do, let me list out here. Not only these two activities, this SharePoint is used to, SharePoint is used to, what activities we can perform with the SharePoint is. The first one you can do it here is what? SharePoint is used to store the data, guys. Store the data in the form of list, in the form of what? List. Let me keep that point here. SharePoint is used to store the data, in the form of list. List is nothing but what? Tables. List is nothing but what? Tables. So whenever if you want to store the data, you are able to store the data in which format? Means list format. List is nothing but what? Means list is nothing but a table. So in general we'll call it as tables, but in the SharePoint tables are called as what? Tables are called as list. So this SharePoint is used to store the data in the form of list. And second point, what we can do with the SharePoint is, so it is used to store, SharePoint is used to stores them. SharePoint is used to store the organizational documents, guys. Organizational documents. SharePoint is used to store organizational documents. Like, what are the different types of documents we'll have, guys? If you want to store some documents like Excel files, if you want to store any Excel files, you can store it in the SharePoint. If you have an organization, we'll have some data in the Excel also. Yes, you need to store some Excel files. You can go and store some documents, Word document, and also you can go and store some PPTs. You can go and store what? PPT presentations. So you can store the images, you can store some notepad. So different formats of flights, different formats of documents, guys. All these are called as files. So it is used for what? To store the data in the form of a list. And also it is used for what? To store the documents of your organizations like Excel or document, PPTs. So if there is any documents like this, you can store it. So not only to store the data in the form of list or in the documents, what we can do with this SharePoint means, with the help of this SharePoint, what is the third thing? What is the what we are going to do with this SharePoint is, the third point here is, we can create the websites, guys. It is used to create the websites. So if you want to create the websites for your organization, if there is any organization, if that organization wants to create one website in the SharePoint, so in that website it is going to store the data in the form of a list, or it is going to store the data in the form of a document. So if there is any organization, if that organization wants to store their organizational business data either in the list format or in the documentation format in the SharePoint. Means within the SharePoint, you are able to create the websites, guys. Whatever the websites you are creating here within the SharePoint, these are organizational websites, guys. Outside of the people, those who are not in the organizations, they are not able to interact with these websites. So not only to store the data in the form of list, not only to store the data in the form of documentations, this SharePoint is also used for what? It is also used to create some websites like web pages. And next point here is, what is the fourth point? What is the SharePoint is used for here is? So SharePoint is used to create, it is used to create the forms. If you want to create any forms to submit, to enter the data into the list, if you want to create some forms, you can go and create it. Let us say, if you want to create one form like this, guys, or let us take the employee name. So I want to create one employee form here, employee name, employee job, what is the job he is doing, what is the salary he is getting, and what is the email id of that employee, what is the mobile number of the temp. Like this, if you want to go and create one form, yes, you can go and create the forms in the SharePoint. You can create this form like structure in the SharePoint, guys. So not only to store the data in the form of list and documents, it is also used to create what? Websites. And also it is used to create what? Forms. You can create these forms like this, and in order to go and submit the data to the list. So with the help of SharePoint, you can go and create the websites, and also you can go and create some forms here. And one more point, the fifth point here is, whatever the data we are going to store in the SharePoint, whatever the data we are going to store or manage within the SharePoint, so it is highly secured, guys. So whatever the data we are storing in the SharePoint, this is highly secured. Let me keep here. The data stored in the SharePoint, the data stored in the SharePoint is highly secured, guys. Is highly secured. So people, those who are working in the organizations, those people only can interact with the data in the SharePoint. People, those who are not working in the organizations, and also people, those who are having some organizational accounts, those are not able to interact with the data which is stored in the SharePoint. So whatever the data we are storing in the SharePoint, it is highly secured. Outside of the organization, people wants to interact with the data in the SharePoint, means no. Within the organization also, people who have the access to those list or documents, those people only can interact with that data. So within the organization also, people, those who are not having the access to those documents or list, they are not able to interact with the data in the list or in the documents. So the data that is stored in the SharePoint is highly secured. And finally, one more point, what we can do with this SharePoint is, this SharePoint, we can collaborate the team very easily, guys. So let me keep here, SharePoint is used, it is used to collaborate the team very easily. So let me keep here, it is easy to collaborate the team, or let me keep it here, it is easy for collaboration. It is easy for collaboration. Now what is meant by collaboration, guys? So I'm telling that in the SharePoint we can easily collaborate. So what is meant by this collaboration? Collaboration is nothing but the place where, or let me keep it like this, in place of calling it as a place, let me keep here the process. It is the process. Collaboration, it is the process of, it is the process of one or, it is the process of one or more people, one or more people or organizations, one or more people or organizations works together, works together to complete a task. What is this? Collaboration means, collaboration is nothing but the process of one or more people, the process of one or more people or organizations works together to complete a task. So see here, guys, what is this collaboration I'm keeping here is, it is the process where one or more people or organizations works together to complete a task. So in the SharePoint, if there is any project you are working on, it is easy to combine the employees. It is easy to gather, or it is easy to get together the employees, and we can split the work to the employees equally, and where the employees can work at one place. So in the SharePoint, if you are doing any project, we can assign the work to the employees very easily, and we can collaborate them. Collaboration is nothing but what? So the process of one or more people or organizations working together. You can assign the work to one or more people or organizations at one place together. So by that, you can understand how many people are working, how many are not working, and what is the progress of your project. So this is what is meant by collaboration, guys. Simple collaboration thing, but the process of one or more people or organizations works together to complete a task. So these are the things what you can go and perform with the SharePoint, guys. Not only to store and manage the organization business data. So we can store the business data in the form of a list or in the form of a documents. Not only to perform these two actions in the SharePoint, you can go and perform what? You can go and create some websites for your organizations. You can go and create some forms for your organizations. And also, whatever the data we're storing in the SharePoint, it is highly secured. People, those who are not having the access to this list or documents, they are not able to interact with the data. And this in the SharePoint, if you are going working with any project means, so it is easy for collaboration. Collaboration is something but what? The process of one or more people or organizations works together to complete a task. Whenever if you want to complete a task, or whenever if you want to complete one project within the time duration, then you can easily collaborate the team members or project members at one place by using the SharePoint. So this is what you can go and perform by using the SharePoint, guys. What the SharePoint is used for? SharePoint is used to perform all these operations. So this is what the introduction to SharePoint, guys. So whatever the points I'm keeping here, let me conclude all those, and let me keep here the definition of what is meant by SharePoint, guys. Till now, whatever I'm discussing here, these are the things what we can go and do with the help of SharePoint. Now let me go and keep here the final definition, guys. By concluding all these points, by consolidating all these points, I'm going to keep one definition here for the SharePoint. Now what's the definition I'm going to keep here is SharePoint is a SharePoint is a web-based web-based data source platform. It is a web-based data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational business data organizational business data in the form of list format. List is nothing but what, guys? List is nothing but tables. It is used to store and organize the business data in the form of tables, comma, documents. You can store some data in the documents like what are the different types of documents will have. Documents like Excel. If you can store some data in the Excel files. The companies will store some data in the Word document. Some companies will have some PPTs to give some presentations. So like this, if you want to store any data in the form of documentations, you can store it. Not only to store that data in the form of a list or in the form of documents, and also, and the SharePoint is also used to create the forms, create the forms and websites, create the forms and websites at one place. Create the forms and websites at one place. This is what the definition of this is what is the definition of SharePoint, guys. So try to understand what I'm keeping here. So whatever the points I'm keeping here in the above, I'm consolidating all these points, and I'm keeping the what is the definition of SharePoint here. Simple. I'm telling that SharePoint is a web-based data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational data. SharePoint is a web-based data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational business data in the form of list format or in the documentation format. Not only to store and manage the organizational business data in the form of list and documents, it is also used to create what? It is also used to create the forms, and also it is used to create what? Websites. So this is what the definition of SharePoint guys. So whatever the points I'm keeping here, I'm consolidating all these points I'm keeping here. What's the definition of it? So if they ask what is meant by SharePoint means, simply go and explain this. SharePoint is a web-based, or you can explain here a cloud-based guys. Both are same. SharePoint is a cloud-based or a web-based data source platform which is used to store and manage the organizational business data in the form of list or documents, and also use it to create the forms and websites at one place. So at one place, you can go and store the data in the form of tables. You can create the documents, and you can create some forms for your organizations, and you can go and create the websites for that organizations. Everything you can do it at what? At one place. You can go and do everything here. So this is what the definition of SharePoint. And next, one more point you need to understand here: who developed the SharePoint guys? We know that what is meant by SharePoint and what is the definition of it, what the SharePoint can do. Still now we discussed it. Now try to understand who developed the SharePoint. SharePoint is developed by whom? SharePoint is developed by the Microsoft company. Who developed the SharePoint means it is one of the part from the Microsoft. In which year it is developed means in the year 2001. In the year 2001, Microsoft developed a software called SharePoint, which is used to store and manage the organization business data at one place. Storing the data means store the data in the form of tables like lists and documents, create the forms and websites. Now, what type of software the Microsoft developed the SharePoint means? What type of software it is? It will act as a data storage. It will act as a data storage, and also what we can call here maintenance, or we can call it as a management software. It is a data storage or a data management software. You can store the data and you can manage the organization business data. So finally, the SharePoint is developed by the Microsoft company in the 2001. It is a data storage and data management software. So this is what who developed the SharePoint, in which year it is developed, and what type of software it is, what things we can go and perform here. And now next we are going to discuss about the block diagram of SharePoint guys. What is the block diagram of SharePoint? So at a high level, so what things I'm going to discuss in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to keep it in the block diagram. So let me go and explain here what is the block diagram of SharePoint guys. Let me go and open the block diagram of SharePoint. Try to understand. Now see, this is what the block diagram for SharePoint. Now try to understand guys. Now in this, first of all, if you want to go and work with the SharePoint, first of all, if you want to go and work with the SharePoint, you need to have what? You need to have the SharePoint account. You need to create one account to work with the SharePoint. Now see, the first foremost thing you need to go and do here is what? You need to go and create one SharePoint account. Now who will create this SharePoint account guys? Who will create this SharePoint account? So whenever if you joined in any organization, whenever if you joined in any organizations, the organizations or the companies, they will create one Microsoft account for you guys. If you go and join in any organization, that organizations will create one Microsoft account. So whatever the account they are going to create, that Microsoft account, through that account you are able to go and access this SharePoint. So you no need to go and create the SharePoint accounts when if you go and join in any organizations guys. So companies itself, once if you join in the organization, they will create one account, one Microsoft account. By using this Microsoft account, you can go and access the SharePoint. So okay, the company is providing the one license, they are providing, they are creating one separate account for you. So with that SharePoint or with this Microsoft account, you are able to access with the SharePoint. Now how to go and connect to the SharePoint? Okay, you have the Microsoft account. Now how to go and connect to the SharePoint? With the help of this account, Microsoft account, I need to go and connect to the SharePoint. Now how to connect to the SharePoint? In order to go and connect to the SharePoint, you need to go and use one web URL, that is office.com. In order to go and connect to the SharePoint, you need to go and use one web URL. What is that URL? You can go to the office.com. In the office.com, you can go and find out the SharePoint. So try to understand, in order to go and work with the SharePoint, first of all, you need to have one SharePoint account. So who will create the SharePoint account means the companies will provide you. They will create one Microsoft account for you. Through that Microsoft account, you can go and log into the SharePoint account. In order to go and log in with these credentials to the SharePoint account, you need to go and use one web URL. What's that web URL? Office.com. So when I go to the office.com, from here you can go and open the SharePoint. Now once if you go and open the SharePoint, next, what are the things you need to go and perform here is, once after opening the SharePoint, once after connecting the SharePoint, the first thing you need to do here is, you need to go and create the site case. The first thing you need to go and do what? You need to go and create a site here. You'll understand what is meant by a site, what is meant by the sites, what the different types of sites is there, you'll understand. So once after connecting to the SharePoint, the first thing you need to do here is what? You need to go and create one site. Now, see, there are two different ways you can go and create the sites case. So there are two different types of sites are available. What is meant by site? You will understand. Please be wait. So first you need to go and create what? Sites. Now there are two different types of sites is there. This is my second step guys. Creating the sites is my second step. First step is what? Connecting to the SharePoint. Now there are two types of sites is there. One is what? Team site. Second one is what? Communication site. Now what is this team site? What is this communication site? You'll understand. So once if you go and connect to the SharePoint, second step is what? Go and create the sites. What is this site? You'll understand. So there are two types of sites that are available. One is team site. Second is what? Communication site. What is this team site? What is this communication site? When to go and create the team site? When to go and create the communication site? You'll understand, guys. So the second step is what? I need to go and create the site here. Which site you need to go and create? You'll understand. Either team site or communication site. Now see, let us say I'm creating some sites here, guys. I'm creating two team sites and I'm creating here two communication sites. These are the two communication sites. Now once after creating the sites, either it is a team site or whether it is a communication site, whatever the site it is, once after creating the multiple sites, you need to go and connect to any one of the site case. Now see, I'm having the multiple sites here. These are the two team sites are available. These are the two communication sites are available. Among these multiple sites, you need to go and connect to any one of the site. Let us say I'm connecting to the site called team site 2. I'm connecting to what? Team site 2. I'm connecting to this site, team site 2. Now once after connecting to the site, this is my third step guys. What's my third step? Connecting to the sites. Once after connecting to the sites, next step, fourth step, finally, what the site contains. Okay, I'm creating one site. Let's say I'm creating the team site. Once after creating the multiple sites, I'm going to connect to one of the site. Now once after connecting the sites, what the site will contains. Now see, each site contains, what it contains means site contents. What the site contains? The site will contains the site contents guys. Now what is meant by the site contents? Try to understand. What is meant by the site contents means, site contents is nothing but list. Site content is nothing but what? List. Where you can go and create the list in the SharePoint means, where you can go and create the list in the SharePoint is, you can go and create the list in the sites. Where you can go and create the list means in the site. So there is something called document library. So where you can go and store your documents like Excel, Word document, PPTs, all this means we can store them in the document library. And next one is what? Websites. So whenever if you want to create any website for your organization, where you can go and create the websites? Within the site only. Next, if you want to create any forms for your organization, where you can go and create the forms? You can go and create the forms in the site only. So once after connecting to the site will contains what? Site contents. Site contents is nothing but what? List. List is one site content. Document libraries comes under the site content. Websites also comes under the site content. Forms. So all these things where we are going to create means, all these things we are going to create under the sites only. All these called as what? Within the site, all these are called as site contents. All these are called as what? Site contents. So this is what at a high level we are going to perform now in today's session guys. So in today's session practically I will show you how to connect to the SharePoint by using the office.com. By using this office.com, how to open the SharePoint. Once after open the SharePoint, I will show you how to create a site, and I will explain you what is this team site, what is this communication site, when to go and create the team site you'll understand, when to go and create the communication site also you'll understand. And the next I will show you how to create the sites here, how to go and create the sites. Once after creating the site, I will show you how to connect to a particular site. We'll discuss how to connect to the site. I'm connecting here site 2. Now once after connecting to the site, we'll discuss how to create the list. List is nothing but what, guys? Site content. How to create the list, how to create the documents. So these things we'll discuss now. So this is what at a high level, what's the block diagram of the SharePoint, guys. So now let me go and discuss about first what is meant by site. Already still now we discussed about what SharePoint, already we discussed it. If you see here, still now we discussed about the SharePoint only. Next, what is this site in the SharePoint? First of all, let me go and keep here what is meant by this site, guys. So try to understand what is this site is. What is this site? Important points, guys. All these are, try to understand. These questions you will get in the interviews. So what is a site? Site is a site is like a site is a it is like a database or a container. Site is a database or a container where we will where we will store where we will store and manage the business data, where we will manage the business data business data like what, where we'll manage the business data like list, comma, documents, comma, forms, comma, websites, where you can go and create, or where we can go and store this list, documents, all this stuff means you can go and create within the sites only, guys. That's what I'm keeping here. SharePoint is a database or a container where we will create or store, let me keep here, where we will create or store, or let me do keep it like this, where we will store the, where we'll store and manage the business data like list, document, forms, and websites within the SharePoint. Within the SharePoint, where we will go and store and manage the business data like share list, documents, forms, and websites means within the site. So site is like a database. This is the place. This is the place where you can go and store and manage your organizational business data like list format data, documentation format data. If you want to create any forms for your organization, if you want to create any websites for your organizations, everything where you can go and create means in the SharePoint, where you can go and create all this stuff within the site. So site is like a database, or it acts as one container. And next point you need to understand here, I said that there are different types of sites are available, guys. One is what, team site. Second is what, communication site. Now what is this team site and what is this communication site? Now try to understand. Let me keep here types of sites. Now what are the different types of sites are there in the SharePoint is, as we know that there are two types of sites. One is team site and second one is what, communication site. Second one is what, communication site. These are the two sites I'm having here. Now try to understand what is this team site and what is this communication site. So let me keep here, guys. What is this team site is? What is this team site is? It is used to, team site is used to, it is used to create a private workspace. It is used to create a private workspace. It is used to create a private workspace to collaborate with your team. So what, when to go and you, What is this team site means? First of all, team site is used to create a private workspace to collaborate with your teams or with your team. So whenever if you want to communicate with your team, if there are some group of people where they need to go and work as a team on under one project, so in this case they need to go and create what? Team sites. Team site is like it is going to create a private workspace to collaborate with your team. Online people, Vamsidhar, please mute Vamsidhar. Now see here guys, and next one, what is the next one? Communication site. What is this communication site? Now try to understand guys. It is used to create a public workspace. It is used to create a public workspace to share the post, comma information, comma information to more number of audience, to more number of audience. So want to go and create this communication site means it is used to create a public workspace. So it is going to create some space. What type of space? It is a public workspace where you can go and share some post or information to more number of audience guys. So whenever if you want to share some information, or whenever if you want to share some post to more number of audience within your organization, then go and create what? Communication site. Let me try to explain what's the difference between these two. Let us say let us say there is one organization guys. Let us say there is one company. In that company there are 100 employees are working. There are 100 employees are working. Now do you think that all the 100 employees will work on only one project? No, all the 100 employees don't work on one project. Let us say 10 to 15 employees will work on one project, 10 employees will work on one project, another 10 to 15 employees will work on another projects. So let us say there is one team, or let us say there is one project. Let us say there is one project. Under that project there are 10 employees are working. So for this group of 10 employees, they need to go and work under one project. So whenever if you want to go and work together as a team, then in this case go and create what site? Team site. So most probably in the real time scenarios, whenever if you are creating a site in the SharePoint, what type of sites will create means team sites only guys. So team sites, when to go and create the team sites means whenever if you are going and working with any particular project. So in this case you need to go and create what? Team site. So 99.99% of the cases, 99% of the cases in the real time scenarios will create the team sites only. Why? Because if there is any organization, in that organization there are 100 employees are working, all the 100 employees don't go and work under one project. Let us say there are 10 employees, those who are working under that one project. So people those who are working under one project, for them I need to go and create one separate workspace. So in order to go and create a separate private workspace for a group of employees where you can go and collaborate them, then go and create what site? Team site. And next one is communication site. So when to go and create this communication site means, let us say there are 100 employees is there. 100 employees is there in your organization. You want to share some information with your organization members case. Whoever is there in the organization, for all the 100 members, I want to share one information to them. So whenever if you want to go and share some information to all the employees in the organization, and where you don't have any privacies, you can share them publicly. Anyone can see that. So in this case you can go and create what? Communication site. So this is what, when to go and what is meant this communication site, and what is this team site guys. When to go and create the team site, when to go and create what? Communication sites. So if there is an organization, in that organization if there are 100 employees, whenever if you want to share any information to all the 100 employees in the organizations, then go and use what? Communication site. Or whenever if you want to go and create some workspace, or whenever if you want to create separate workspace for a group of employees where they are working under one project, for them you need to go and create what? Team site. You are not supposed to give the access to for all the employees to the team site. So you need to give the access for the team site for whom? Employees, those who are working under that project, for them only I need to go and provide the access. Remaining people I don't want to give the access. So in this case, you need to go and create the team site and communication site. This is what the team site and communication sites case. And then next, we know that what is meant by team site and a communication site. Once after creating the sites, let's say I'm creating a team site here. Once after creating the site, next step is what's the third step? My third step is go and connect it to any one of the site. I will show you how to connect to the sites when I'm practical. I will show you guys. So for now, once after connect to the site, what the site contains, each site will contains what? Site contents. What is meant by site contents? List, documents, websites, and forms. So let me list out all those here. Now what the site will contains, guys? Let me keep here. What the site contains. As we know that what the site contains means the site contains list. Site contains is nothing but what? Site contents. Site contains what the site contains? The site contains the site contents. So what is meant by site contents? Site contents is nothing but creating the list. Second is what? Document library. Document library. And third one is what? Creating the websites. Creating the websites. Instead of calling as websites, let me call it as a pages, guys. Instead of calling it a website, better to go and call it as what? Web pages. If you want to create some web pages for your organizations, you can go and create. And next, what we can do with this, the fourth point is you can go and create some forms in order to go and submit the data to the list. So these are all these are comes under where? Site contains. What the site contains? These things what the site can contains. Now see, first of all, let me go and discuss about list. Now, what is meant by a list, guys? Already we discussed this point in the previous classes. What is this list? As we know that list is nothing but what? It is like a table. So list is used to, let me keep here the first point. It is used to, list is used to stores the data. List is used to store the data in the form of columns and rows. List used to store the data in the form of columns and rows. If you are storing anything in the form of columns and rows, that means it is nothing but what, guys? It acts as a table. So list is nothing but what? A table. Now see, in general, list is nothing but a table. What the list contains means the list contains the columns and rows. But in the SharePoint terminology, what the list contains? But in the SharePoint terminology, what the list will contains, guys? Let me keep here. In the SharePoint terminology, what the list will contains means list will contains the fields. List will contains the fields, comma, list items. What the list will contains means list will contains the fields or the list items. So see, fields are also called as columns. Fields are also called as columns, or we'll call it as attributes, guys. Some people will call it as attributes. Fields are called as columns, or we'll call it as attributes. And list items is nothing but what means? List items is nothing but rows. That means data. Whatever the data you are having in the table, that data will call it as what? Rows. Rows is nothing but what? List items. In general, if it is a table, we'll call it as a table contains what? Columns and rows. So whatever the columns is called as what? In the SharePoint terminology, columns are called as fields, rows are called as list items. Keep in mind this point, guys. In the SharePoint, we don't call it as a columns and rows. In the SharePoint terminology, the list contains what? Fields and list items. Fields is nothing but the columns. List items is nothing but what? Rows. Rows is nothing but data. So this is what is meant by a list. List is used to store the data in the form of fields or list items. That means columns and rows in the form of a table. And next one is document library. Now what is this document libraries? I said that, see here, if you observe here, SharePoint is used to store what? Store and organize the business data. What type of data? It can store the data either in the form of a list, or it can store the organizational data in the form of documents, guys. So what type of documents? Now see, whenever if you want to store the data in the form of documents, where you can go and store the data in the form of documents, you can go and store the documents in the document library, guys. So what is this document library is? What is this document library is? Or let me keep it like this. This is the place, this is the place where we will where we will store the different types of files, where we'll store the different types of files, like what are the different types of files we'll store, guys? Excel files, comma, you can store the CSV files also. You can store the CSV files, comma, Word document. Let me keep it like this, comma, Word document. Or if you want to store any PPTs, any PPT presentations, images, notepad, whatever it is, guys. So where you can go and store the data in the form of files means, files is nothing but documents. Where we'll store it means document library. So what is this document library means? This is the place where we will store the different types of documents or files. All these are called as files, guys. Instead of calling it as documents, better to go and call it as what? Files. Where we can go and store the different types of files like Excel, CSV, Word document, PPTs, images, any notepad, everything you can go and store it in one place. All these files, the place where you will store the files in the SharePoint is document library. Thus, this document libraries will comes under where? This document libraries comes under the site. In the site, to store the data in the form of rows and columns, go and create a list. If you want to store any files, that documentation format, go and use what? Document library. And next one is what? Web pages. Now what is this web pages means? Let us say, for your organization, if you want to create any websites, organization level websites, I want to go and create, guys. So if you want to create the websites for your organizations, yes, you can go and create it. Let me keep here. What is this website? Web pages is, it is used to create the secured websites for your organizations. What is the use of this web pages means? Is are used to create the secured websites for your organizations. And finally, one more, that is forms. Now what is the use of this forms is, it is used to it is used to create the forms. Whenever if you want to go and create the forms, in order to go and submit the data to the list, that means tables, then you can go and create some forms here, guys. I said that right. If you want to create any form like employees details form, student details form, like this, if you want to go and create any forms in the SharePoint, you can go and use what? Forms. So like this, you can go and create the list in the site. You can go and create what? Document libraries. You can go and create what? Web pages, that is websites. And next one, you can go and create the forms. All these things you are able to go and do it in one place. What is that place? SharePoint. Within the SharePoint, where you can go and create all these things. Within the SharePoint, I'm going to create all these things in the site. So this is what at an high level, guys. Now see, whatever I'm keeping here in this architecture, everything I'm showing you critically, guys. Critically, I discussed here what is meant by a site. The place where you can go and store the organizational business data like list format, documents, forms, or websites in the SharePoint. So next one is types of sites. What is team site and what is this communication site? And next one is what the site contains. Okay, once if you go and create a site, what the site contains? The site contains what? Site contents. What is the site contents? List is one site content. Document library is one site content. Web pages is another site content. Forms is also comes under the site content. Now we discussed here theoretically what is this site, types of sites, and what is this site contents. So let me go and open the SharePoint now, guys. Now in order to go and open the SharePoint, what is the URL you need to make use of? Let me go and keep here how to open the SharePoint. In order to go and open the SharePoint, you need to go and use one web URL. What is that web URL? Office.com. You need to go and use this web URL, office.com. So go to the any web browser, guys. Either you can go to the Edge, or you can go to the Chrome. Let me go to the Chrome. Let me show you how to go and open the SharePoint now. Now to go and open the SharePoint, go to the search bar and type here office.com and type here what? Office.com. Now just click on the enter button. Once if I click on the enter button, you'll get this UI, Microsoft, you'll get this UI. Now from here, you can go and click on what? Sign in. Click on sign in, guys. Click on this sign in. When I click on the sign in, it is asked the password. By default is taking me user 36. This is not the user I want to log in. I need to go and log in with another user. Let me go and click on what? Switch to different user. Let me click on this. Now let me pass the username here, guys. What is the username is? Let me go and copy some users, or let me do one thing. Let me copy this user, switch to another user, copy and paste. Let me keep the user as 30, user 70. This is the user credentials I'm going to use to log in. So just pass the username here. Already I shared one video with you how to create the licenses. So you are able to create the same thing. So just click on what? Sign in. When I click on sign in, it is asking us to pass the password. What's the password? Let me pass the password here. Once after passing the password, click on the next button. Now see, this is the UI for Microsoft 365, guys. This is the Office 365. You are logging in. Now on the top right side, you are able to see what is the user you are logging in. Now I'm logging with this user, user 70. I'm logging with this user. Next, once after opening the office.com, now my requirement is what? I need to go and open the SharePoint, guys. Now how to open the SharePoint? Now to go and open the SharePoint, you can go to this app launcher. This is called as app launcher, guys. You can go on top left side. When I hover the mouse here, it is showing, it is saying that what? App launcher. Click on this app launcher. Here you are able to see the SharePoint. Here you can go and click on it. When I click on it, it will open the SharePoint. Otherwise, go to the search bar here. Go to the search bar. In the search bar, search for SharePoint. Search for what? SharePoint. Now see, it is displaying the SharePoint here. Now just go and click on here. Click on the SharePoint. When I click on SharePoint, now it is going to open the SharePoint, guys. Now see, currently I'm opening what here? I'm opening the SharePoint. This is the SharePoint user interface. This is the SharePoint user interface. Now on the top right side, you are able to see to which user you are logging in. I'm logging with user 70. Next, once after opening the SharePoint, within the SharePoint, first thing, what is the first thing you need to go and do? You need to go and do here, guys. Once after connecting to the SharePoint, first thing is what? I need to go and create one site. So where you can go and create all this list, documents, websites, and forms means within the sites. So let me go and create one site here. How to create a site in the SharePoint? Let me go to the SharePoint. Now in order to go and create the site, on the top you are able to see an option, guys. Create a site. Create a site. Just go and click on what? Create site. When I click on this create site, it will ask us to create one site. What type of site you want to create? Let me click on the create site, guys. When I click on it, now see, it is asking us to select the site type. Create a site. Create a site from here. Select that site type. Which site you want to create? I said that there are two types of sites are available. I said that there are two types of sites are available. One is what? Team site. Second is what? Communication site. Now if you see here, you can go and create, select the either team site, or you can go and select what? Communication site. Team site is nothing but what? Team site, it will create a private workspace to collaborate with your team. If you want to create a separate workspace for a dedicated group of members for your team, then go with the team site. Most probably always will try to create the team sites, guys. When to go and create the communication site means, now see, clearly it is mentioning share the information that engages a broad audience. Broad audience means more number of audience. Whenever if you want to share any information to more number of audience in your organization or out of the organizations, then go and use the communication site. So for now I'm going to create what site? Team site, guys. So just go and select what? Team site. So select this one. Select the team site. When I click on the team site, now it is going to load some templates here. So it will give some default templates here, guys. So let me go with the standard template, standard themes. Click on this standard template. Now go and click on this use template, use this template. So this is the UI it look like. This is the user UI template. So just randomly neglect this one. No need to go and walk through in detail. Just go and click on what? Use template. When I click on the use template, now see, give, it is telling that give your site name. What is the name you want to give for this site? So let me go and pass the site name here, guys. Here I need to go and pass the site name. Now what is the site name I'm keeping here is, let me keep here the site name as demo site. Let me keep the site name as what? Demo site. Now see, whenever if I enter the site name here, it is telling that already group with the same alias name exists. So your site name has to be unique. Your site name has to be unique. So let me keep here, but let me change the name, batch 6 p.m. demo site. So what is the site name I am keeping here? Batch 6 p.m. demo site. Now see, once after passing the site name, it will use some green mark here. The site name is available. Whatever the name you are passing, the site name is available or not, or some other is using this site. Already the site is created. No, the site is available. The site name is what? 6 p.m. demo site. Next, if you scroll down, here it is giving the site address. This is the site address, case. Anyway, you can see the site address later also. So once after passing the site name here, just go and click on what? Next button. Just go and click on the next button. Now see, it is asking us to pass the privacy settings. Next thing you need to go and pass it here is what? Privacy settings. So there are two types of privacy settings are available, guys. So whenever you are creating any one of the site, you need to go and pass here privacy settings. There are two types of privacy settings. What are the two types of privacy settings are available means? One is private, second one is public. One is public, second one is private. Let me go and keep here. First one is whatever it is, private, and second one is public. Now what is this privacy settings, guys? What is this private? What is meant this public? Now try to understand. Try to understand. By default, whenever if you are creating a team site, by default, whenever if you are creating a team site, the privacy settings is private, guys. By default is private. Only members can access this site. Whoever you are giving the access to this site, only those people can access. Other than this, other people's not able to access it. So by default, the privacy settings is, it is private first up by default. If you want to change it to public, you can change. Public means what? Anyone in the organization can access this site. Anyone in the organization can access this site. So I am creating a team site here. So I want to access for my team members. I don't want to go with public. So if you go and select the privacy settings as public, anyone in the organization can access this site. If you go with private, only members can access this site. Members means whoever you are adding to this site. First, the site name is what? Batch 6 p.m. demo site. Whoever you are adding, those people only can interact. Other than the other employees are not able to interact. So let me go and keep it as privacy settings is what? Private. I want to keep this site as a private for the specific people of employees, for a specific group of employees. Next, language. What type of language you want to select? So there are different languages will be there. We'll go with the default as English. Next, go and click on what? Create site. When I click on the create site, now it is going to create one site. What is the site name? Batch 6 p.m. demo site. Just click on create site. Now once if I click on the create site, now see, here it is telling that you can add the members to this site. At the time of creating the site itself, you can add the members, or once after creating the site also you can add the members. I will show you how to add the members to the site once it is created. For now I'm not going to add. If you want to add, you can add here. Let us say if I keep here user, it will display all the users in my organizations, guys. Now see, all these are the users. I can add from here. I'm not going to add anyone now. Just go and click on what? Finish. When I click on finish, now I'm going to create one site here. What is the site name? Now see, by default, it is navigating to the site page. What is the site name we created? This is the site name, batch 6 p.m. demo site. This is the site name. Now, this is the UI for the site. This is the UI for the site. Now see, once after creating the site, what the site contains? Site contains the list, within the sites you can go and create what? Site contents. Site contents is nothing but what? List. So within the site I'm going to create the list now. Within the sites I'm going to create document libraries. You can create the websites and forms. Now where you can go and create the site contents, let's say I want to create the list in this site. Now in this site, by using what I can go and create the list, guys, or in the site where I can go and create the list. So within the site, once after connecting to the sites, first of all you need to go to the site content. You need to go where? You need to go to the site contents. So from where you can find out the site contents means in the left side, in the left navigation, currently you are in the home tab. So you can see here site content. When I click on the site content, you will be navigating to the site contents, or otherwise on the top you are able to see one gear icon here, guys. This is settings. Click on this gear icon or click on the settings. When I click on the settings, here you are able to see the site content. Here you are able to see site contents. So once after opening the site, you need to go to the site contents. You can go to the site contents from the left navigation, or you can go from this settings. So go to the settings and then click on what? Site contents. Click on the site contents. When I click on the site contents, now see it is navigating to me where? The tab I am selecting here is what now? Site contents. If you see the tab I am here in the site contents. Now here within the site content, I am going to create the list, document libraries, everything. Now see where within the site contents, where I can go and create it means go and click on this new. When I click on this new, when I click on this new, from here you can go and create it, guys. List, you can create the list here. You can create the pages is nothing but websites. Document libraries, you can, if you want to create any Excel files, Word documents, PPTs, any CSV files, if you want to create, you can go and create from here. If you want to create app means forms, guys. If you want to create any apps or forms, you can go and create from here. So whatever I listed here within the site, you can go and create the list. You can go and create the document libraries, websites and forms. So all this stuff you are able to create in where? Site contents. So once after opening the site, once after creating the site, connect to the site. Once after connecting to the site, go to the site contents. Within the site contents, you can go on to the new tab. When I click on this new, here you can go and create what? List. You can go and create the websites. You can go and create what? Document libraries. And you can go and create some forms here, form apps or forms. So this is what, how to go and create a site in the SharePoint, guys. Now here we discussed about how to open the SharePoint account. Once after opening it, how to create a site, and also we discussed about what is team site and communication site. We created one site here, team site. Once after creating the site, what the site can, where we can go and create this site contents. So within the site contents, with the help of this new tab, you can go and create all this stuff. So here in today's session, we discussed how to open the SharePoint from the office.com. Once after opening it, how to go and create a site. Once after creating the site, how to connect to the site. Once after connecting to the site, how to go and create the, or how to go and navigate to the site contents. Within the site contents, how to see the, where we can go and create this see or can create the list, pages, documents and apps. So for now let me stop here. In today's session we discussed up to this. So in the next class, that is tomorrow, I will discuss about how to create a site here. Sorry, how to create a list. So within this site, within this batch 6 p.m. demo site, in the tomorrow's class we'll discuss about how to create one list, guys. So by using this new tab here, you can go and create one list. Now how to create a list, how to create this document libraries, how to add the columns to the list, how to add the documents to the document library. These things we'll discuss it in the tomorrow's class. Fine, let me stop here.